This is the ultimate Rogue DPS guide for Season of Discovery Phase 2. I'm going to take you through everything from talents, rotation and runes to pre-biz and biz gear and professions and consumables, but first up, let's look at our stat priority. What you will see here is that hit chance comes up first. However, what I do want to advise is that if you're going to be doing a leveling build to start with, you're not going to want hit chance because you will get 5% from your talents. This is aimed more at level 40, but hold up, I am going to do a full leveling guide shortly after this video so you can watch that as well. So at level 40, we're going to want hit chance, of course, so we can hit the boss. Second is going to be crit chance, and then we're going to want agility, then strength, and then attack power. All of these stats are going to be on our pre-biz and biz gear, so you don't need to worry too much about the priority here, as we're going to be getting a lot of them anyway from the gear I'm showing you. However, it's very important to know what priority they do come in. Going back onto talents then, I'm going to mention first that we are going to be using the Mutilate rune predominantly in our rotation. This does mean we're going to need dual wielding, specifically of daggers. And this is going to be affected by anything that is buffed by our backstab. So basically, if we have a talent buffing backstab, it's also going to buff mutilate. Let's get into it with malice. 5 out of 5 points in here, increasing our crit chance by 5%. 3 points into improved slice and dice, increasing the duration by 45% of it. No brainer. We want slice and dice up all the time as our finisher, just to keep it up. And increasing that duration means we have to use it less, meaning we can do more damaging finishers. We're also going to put 3 points into Ruthlessness, giving our finishing moves a 60% chance to add another combo point to our target. Going down then, 1 point into Relentless Strikes, which is giving our finishing moves a 20% chance to restore 25 energy, meaning we can get a better throughput. Over on the right-hand side then of this, we're going to put 3 points into lethality, increasing the critical strike damage bonus, specifically of backstab, by 18%, which does, remember, affect our mutilate. Going down one more, we're going to put 5 points into vile poisons, increasing the damage dealt by our poisons by 20%, and gives our poisons a 40% additional chance to resist dispel. On top of that then, it's going to be 5 into improved poisons, increasing the chance to apply them by 10%, and then putting 1 point down here in cold blood, when activated on a 3-minute cooldown, is going to increase the crit strike of our backstab by 100%, and again, that will affect our mutilate. The remaining 5 points, we're actually going to go over to subtlety and put 5 points into opportunity, increasing damage dealt when striking from behind from backstab, and this should also affect our mutilate. Let's now look at the runes then. Well, first up, we're going to put 1 in the chest into Deadly Brew, granting several improvements to our poisons. When we inflict any poison onto our target, we're also going to inflict Deadly Poison. If our weapon does not have a poison on it, it has a chance to trigger instant poison as if instant poison were applied, but FYI, do keep instant poison applied on your daggers at all times. Deadly Poison and Instant Poison now gain increased damage from your attack power as well, meaning that attack power is therefore more important. If you are leveling, I would say to go for Envenom on the legs, but at level 40, go for Between the Eyes. This is a ranged finishing move that causes damage per combo point, increased by attack power, and stuns the target. Pretty self-explanatory there. It's going to be one of our main finishers. And then, of course, on our next one, we're going to go with Mutilate. Instantly attacks with both weapons for 100% weapon damage plus an additional with each weapon. Damage is increased by 20% against poison targets, again, making sure that we're getting those poisons out as much as possible, hence the talent points I've showed you. And damage is increased by 20%. Oh, I've just said that. Awards 2 combo points as well. Mutilate benefits from all talents and effects that trigger or modify backstab. Again, that is the reason I've been going backstab crazy in the talent tree. For AoE, Shuriken Toss is going to be really, really useful. However, you can also take Shadow Step if you would like, attempting to step through the shadows and appear behind your target, increasing movement speed, so that you're attacking from behind. That is a good one you can take, but ideally you're going to take Shuriken Toss, especially in dungeons, to get that AoE damage out. That is on the waist rune. On the foot then, it's going to be Master of Subtlety. Of course, we're going to be starting in stealth whenever we can, and attacks made while stealthed and for 6 seconds after breaking cause an additional 10% damage, and in your opener, that is obviously going to be a big difference. Looking then at the pre-biz gear, I'm going to mention now that this is going to include gear from if you've been raiding or are still raiding in BFD, and also if you're just doing questing and or dungeoning. I'm not going to go through every single item specifically in detail, but I am going to show you what items you can get and where to get them. I'm going to go through more detail when we go for the actual biz list, but this is pre-biz for now. On the head then, we've got the Artemis Cowl or Tailoring White Bandit Mask, which is really good. Shoulders, Failed Flying Experiment. Now, this is a quest you can do in Ferulers. However, at 40, it is red difficulty, and I would advise going for a group to get this, but it's really, really useful if you can get it. Otherwise, some leather working items are really good, and some dungeons, and of course there's another BOE we can use here from the auction house. There's going to be a lot of those. For the neck, just go for PvP items that you had from phase 1. Same is going to go on the cloak. There is a few options here, but I would say if you've got the Sergeant's Cloak from PvP already, just keep that for now. On the chest, there's a separate Horde and Alliance quest you can take, or this BOE. It says from Raids of Vendowns, it's not from a boss, it's a BOE random drop, and therefore could be extraordinarily expensive on the auction house. Wrists then, Warsong Gulch Exalted is going to be the best with the Warsong Outriders, but again, that's going to take a while to get. There's a few, again, world drops, or you can get things like Of the Tiger or Of Power on BOEs or from leatherworking. Going down onto the hands, there is the gloves of Holy Might, which are fantastic when leveling up. These are BOE and can be very, very expensive as well. Again, anything of the Tiger, it's going to be really fantastic, like these Arachnid gloves. Again, there's some quests here you can get these from. From the waist, you can actually get Honoured with Arathi Basin if you're still doing PvP. These are really good options. Otherwise, I would do this quest here for the waist from the Ashen Vale. From Ashen Vale. That's up the top, you know, the little village near the BFD raid along the beach. Genu of the Elven Ring, he's there, just FYI. Sick of seeing the guy, to be honest, for the last few months. On legs then, there's a good few options here from all different options, and again, power and tiger, etc. Same on the feet, you know, imposing boots of power are going to be really good with 28 AP on them, attack power. Rings again, I would say just go PvP for that one, whatever you had from phase 1. If you have the Seal of Rin on Alliance, which I've spoken about a lot of times on this channel, you can take that, Seal of Sylvanas, etc. They're all going to be pretty good, honestly, until you get to Biz. Trinkets, Avengers Void Pearl, which you may already have from the last boss of Akume, is still pre-biz and biz. Again, with the Rune of Duty from phase 1 as well is still pre-biz. These are quite easy to get, especially if you're doing Black Fathom Deeps even. And you can trade this in if you have the healing one, etc., which you won't as a rogue, but if you did, for some weird reason, you can trade this in for 75 gold, not gear. You can trade this for 75 gold at Booty Bay. On the weapons then, like I said, you are going to want to do double daggers, and you can get the Gut Ripper as a world drop, which is the best, and the Blood Harvest Blade from the Stranglethorn Vale PvP event. These are pretty much biz. The rest of it comes from PvP, as you can see here. There's a few random drops and one, oh, that's a mace, we don't want that. There's a few, dagger options from PvP, but overall, these are going to be the absolute 2 best daggers you can get. And Stranglethorn Vale's Blood Moon event does have amazing rewards for every single class. And you can see here, on the offhand, there is the Blood Splattered Stiletto from Stranglethorn Vale, and there's a separate one for main hand as well, so you can get pretty much everything you need from either Raids of Vendowns or PvP. And of course, there's a few options here on the ranged weapon as well. Now let's go on to the actual biz in slot. Biz in slot? Best in slot. So I do advise that you take leather working for the glowing neuro-linked cowl. You can see here, it's going to do some damage to yourself, but also increase your attack speed for 20% for 10 seconds on a 10-minute cooldown and give you some weapon damage there. Leather working is really good, and you can also make yourself gear on the pre-biz list as well. A lot of these items are going to be from Nomagun. This one is from Nomagun. You can see here, pretty self-explanatory, crit and attack power. This one is also from Nomagun. The Ferulers quest I previously mentioned is actually best in slot, however, but could be very difficult to get, and therefore this Nomagun one is the second best. The Dark Hooded Cape is actually from Nimar the Slayer quest in Arathi Highlands. If you can't get that, I would just go for the Blood Drenched Cape from Stranglethorn Vale PvP event. Insulated gear is going to be the best as a set bonus for the chest, legs, and boots. So this is again from Nomagun. You can see here it's increasing your crit, increasing damage with daggers by 3. Well, it's increasing daggers by 3. And you can enchant this with +2 stats. You can see there's a 20 attack power for druids there as well. So this is for druids and rogues. We want it for the daggers. They want it for their bear and cat form AP. Forest Stalkers, which is the Warsong Gulch rep one, is best in slot here. Here's some other options on the daggers that I didn't previously show you. Sorry, let me get out of the way. That's the Toxic Revenger and the Gut Ripper there. Moving on to the right side then, we have the Machinist's Gloves, adding 30 attack power when fighting mechanical units. Of course, these are amazing for Nomagun. And another one you can use for professions is engineering. Could be expensive, but this is a fantastic cloth engineering belt, which basically gives you a heads or tails. On a heads, you can get improved crit, and on tails, you get movement speed. It also increases your crit by 1% and your hit by 1%. Again, on the legs and feet is the rest of the set bonus I've previously mentioned. Protector's Band from PvP is still biz on the ring. The other ring you can get is the unique equipped hypercharged gear from Nomagon, giving you some resistances and stats. Avengers Void Pearl, still biz from Phase 1. Gyromatic Experiment 420B adds attack power and attack speed on a 30-minute cooldown, however. It's crazy from Nomagon, but it is really, really good. And you can use Falco String as your crossbow. Looking a bit deeper then into the consumables and professions, here are some of the consumables you're going to want to be using. Elixir of Ogre's Strength, increasing your strength. Elixir of Agility, increasing your agility. Pretty self-explanatory on those, they're from Alchemy. Dragon Breath Chili is really good, and you can stack this with your actual food buff, occasionally belching at those enemies, striking them in melee for the next 10 minutes, proc chance 5%. On the actual food then, which you can stack with that belcher, is going to be the sagefish, sorry, not sagefish light, spider sausage, ignore that one on the left. Spider sausage is farmable from white spider meat, which is in Dustwallow Marsh, northwest near the caves. There's loads of them there. It's a really high drop chance, gives you 12 stamina and spirit, and this is pretty much the best food we're going to be going for. And finally, a bit more on the professions then. Obviously, you could take engineering and level working for the biz. If you don't want to take either of those, I would really recommend taking at least level working. Enchanting is really good for this sigil here, increasing your attack power by 20 for 30 minutes. Alchemy is really good for restoring mana and attack power here, and increasing attack power by 40 for 35 for 15 seconds. So there really is a lot of options for you when you are choosing your professions. But there you go, guys. That is it for being a rogue in Season of Discovery Phase 2. Remember, you can be using your mutilate, keeping that slice and dice up, using your between the eyes as your main finisher, etc. It's really quite simple. I think it's going to be really fantastic, and I'm praying they don't nerf mutilate because it is insane right now. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you need any help at all on the class rotation, set bonuses, add-ons, UI, etc., please do join my Discord. We have a really great community who are also leveling, dungeoning, and raiding together. And if you do need any extra help, you can also press join down below to become a member today, or join my Patreon, where you then get extra access in my Discord, where I can actually help you one-to-one with simming, log analysis, setting up your UI, and all of that fun stuff.